Have you checked the children? You're a little mad sometimes.
Hi, I'm Chucky. Wanna play?
Sometimes that is better.
You're gonna need a bigger boat.
Bienvenidos, Fright fans. Welcome to the horror show. I'm Jaime and Fuego.
Robert Duell here. Today we got another Patreon request for you, bringing from our Patreon Mikey Mnemonic.
We love you, Mikey.
Sorry, Mikey.
Mr. Trauma, the artist formerly known as Mikey Trauma Trash.
Yes, and today we have Skinner, 1993, starring Ted Raimi.
Yeah. Also Ricky Lake and
Ricky Lake.
Former underage porn queen Tracy
Lords.
Yeah.
Yeah. But yeah, so Rick, overall thoughts. I love the hell out of this movie.
I've never even heard of this movie.
Neither have I. So thank you, Mikey.
Yeah.
This is one of those unknown gems that I am so glad I was able to finally see. I love everything Ted Raimi, pretty much everything from like his Hercules stuff to like his little like him being Henrietta in Evil Dead 2. Things like that and everything. No, I was pleasantly surprised from this movie, right from the acting, even from all of our small time cast and everything like that. The practical, even the couple small sets we had.
Yeah,
I thoroughly enjoyed this movie.
It was definitely on a smaller budget, but this was like endearing schlock. Like this is a very like sort of film that would upset so many people. With the subject
it could
matter.
not go about nowadays.
God, there's so much like just not politically correct about this film. Insanely offensive, and I mean, great performances from both of the girls. Even though I mean Tracy overdoes it a little bit, but she's supposed to be, and Ricky Lake like. Cute and endearing, and especially based on the story with her and her husband, who's this truck driver who's never around. I mean, we'll get into that in a second. But yeah, Mikey, good stuff. I can definitely see this being along the lines of people who are into like The Ripper and Maniac and stuff like that. They would probably, although this did have like a darkly comedic tinge to it at times as well, and some of those other like giallo type stuff, it's very humorless from my experience, and so I'm glad they counterbalanced in this, and so and great practical effects too, as we will get into this. It takes a little while to get to it, but once it's there, it's killer. And I also have to shout out, I know why Mikey likes this one as well, because that soundtrack by Contagion is like industrial glory, man. It's so awesome. I dug the soundtrack to this. So good stuff, man. Story though.
Thank you, buddy.
Yeah.
Story.
Pretty simple, but effective.
Yeah. So we have Dennis Skinner, who's played by Ted Raimi. He rents a house from Kathy and her husband Jeff, played by Ricky Lake and
some other guy I recognize.
Something Worski or whatever. I recognize him from things I can't. But anyways, he rents a house from them. By day, he works at a factory. At night, he roams the streets looking for victims to literally skin.
He's pretty much going on the same skid row like every night too, and just picking up a different girl.
Yep. But it doesn't. It's not just between the prostitutes or things like that. It's anyone who messes with him between work and outside.
Eventually, it gets
nobody's safe. And behind all this, he's being trailed by a former victim, played by Tracy Lords, who is in description a a junkie prostitute and everything. And
there's also that guy who has the place where she's staying that I totally recognized him from
he is Eddie from Lost World of Jurassic Park.
That's right. Yeah.
Yep.
And then he's been in tons of
tons of other stuff. That's just the first thing that came to me.
Yeah, he's just like one of those faces you will totally recognize. So,
and even for what little part we had in him and everything, this is just jumping early on the acting. He was great.
Yeah.
I
thought everybody was enjoyable. Yeah. Oh, he was definitely sleazy, especially with like peering through into the room with like the eyes cut into the painting or picture, portrait, or whatever the hell it was. But yeah, man, I mean, our Ted Raimi character Skinner, he's got a past, and when he goes into it during that one scene when he's cutting up one of his victims and talking to his dead
childhood,
body, and
how his messed up,
how his father showed him like his dead mother's body as he was like skinning her, and the autopsy being done and everything, and how that messed him up so significantly, and yet. It's interesting because he's not just like the one note killer. You actually get the vibe that he is kind of, and he does have a little bit of chemistry with Ricky Lake's character.
He does.
And yeah, there's her husband's never around, and there's friction in the marriage, and he's the new house guest, and you know he's actually, despite the fact that he's going around killing people, he's really sweet to her. And it's funny because we've heard about this from various serial killers. Ted Bundy in particular was a big time ladies man, you know, and yeah, I guess that's why they had dude from High School Musical play him in that one film. But
oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, Zach Effie. I think the girls reviewed that here on the channel. But,
Okay.
Yeah. So, but yeah, I mean, Tracy Lord's after him. He's the house guest. He's going around killing, and that's pretty much. That's the extent of the setup. And,
that's
it's
pretty much about it.
Yeah, but it's the effectiveness of the acting. I would definitely say more so than anything. Ted Raimi, he has the range to be like you can see how he could charm somebody, and then in the same right, he's got this demon within.
Yeah, he's like comedic psychopath and
Very much
everything.
so.
That's really about the best I think summing of his character.
Yeah, as honestly epitomized by a scene we were talking about off camera before we started things here. There's somebody at work without specifying who. He kills this person and puts on their skin because that's his thing. After he skins people, he wears their skin and prances around and does stuff with it. And he's running around in the skin of this person, and this is one of those very un-PC moments that would not exist in this day and age at all.
If this came out,
not a chance, man.
Yeah, that movie would be put on the shelf and never see the light of day.
Yo, I'd knock out Tyson, man.
Yeah.
I'd knock out Tyson, yo. He's a chump. She's a chump. Tyson's a chump.
Oh,
Yeah.
Leonta. Yeah, that's. And then he's chasing around the lady and everything like that. And
Yeah, the girl that.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
whose boyfriend just dumps her out.
Yeah,
in the
get
middle
out of the
nowhere.
car. Done with you.
In this very scuzzy-looking area of town. That's a winner right there.
Yeah,
Most
right.
Definitely. But yeah, and as we mentioned, the girls are good. Tracy Lord's she overdoes it a little bit, but when the reveal with her at the end, I thought was very effective. You know, when you realize the full extent of. Because she's a victim of his that has escaped, and so that's why she's trailing him. And when you see what has happened, it's well done. I have to say, for a girl who started out in porn when she wasn't even old enough to do it, I mean, she between this and Crybaby and a few other things, I mean, she's not a bad actress, honestly. So yeah. I mean, honestly, everybody was not to that B-movie schlock like I was anticipating after watching the trailer to this.
No, this is definitely a lot better performances than I originally thought.
Yeah.
Most definitely.
Same. So now, I mean, we've talked acting, story, overall impressions. We have to talk about the grossness of
let's
the
get into the
effectiveness.
practical.
Yeah,
It's awesome.
It takes a while to get to it.
It does.
For a while when we were almost an hour into it and we hadn't really seen a kill aside from a girl being put on a hook. Initially, I was like, are they actually going to show people getting killed? And they show people getting killed, man. They show people getting skinned, and it's relatively graphic, especially where he's having that conversation we were just mentioning.
Yep.
And it's an extended scene of him cutting off flesh, like slowly. Like my dad's a hunter, you know. I've been out in the fields with him when he's, you know, taking down elk and deer and javelina and all this other stuff, and just being out there and skinning something. It's a timely process, and the fact that the scene was as drawn out as it was, I'm like, yeah, that's pretty realistic, actually. I must say.
The one thing that did kind of bug me is like how he was skinning and everything.
Yeah, it wasn't
like,
as
all right.
Yeah.
But again, I dug the hell out of it. It was gross. It was effective, and especially for that scene on his explanation on why he does what he does and where it stemmed from. It was hella effective.
Yeah.
And then that one scene, he just lifts it right off the face, and just like, woo!
Oh yeah.
Go watch this movie. Go watch this movie, guys.
Yeah, I mean, not for the faint of heart or for the easily offended, but yeah, definitely recommended if you're into that sort of thing. And once again, the soundtrack from Contagion, I'm not familiar with this particular early mid-90s industrial group, but their score was great, and then they actually have a full-on song at the end in the end credits with vocals and stuff. And
that song
I was
solid,
I was digging the hell out of that too, man. It's not metal industrial. It's like full-on like the sort of KMFDM and you know, even before Ministry started doing a lot of guitars and stuff like that, it's of that ilk, and it's creepy, and it just added that sort of ominous ambiance to the entirety of the proceedings, I think. So, Mikey, you the man. You do not disappoint in this regard. 9 times out of 10, we're on the same wavelength.
Yeah,
So,
And also, real quick, I just want to point out on even just like the couple sets and everything that we did have for his lair, I will, and then even the lighting for that during the
with all
autopsy
the reds
scene,
and everything.
that was gorgeous, and it was creepy. Like my only thing was,
I thought some of the camera work was good too, and this was a guy from Budapest who did some feature work, but then he also, he did tons of television work, and so you could tell that at least from some of like the camera zooms and use of the crane and everything, like it definitely, you could tell this was a very polished and esteemed person from a directorial standpoint, despite like the more. What's the word I'm looking for? Like Skid Row grossness. Lowbrow. That's the term I was looking
lowbrow.
for.
Okay.
Yeah. It was a very polished looking film, despite the lowbrow content that was on display.
Yeah, and if I'm remembering correctly, the director from this, after this movie, it was pretty much just nothing but porns that he was actually directing.
Not surprised. He was dating that one woman who she was one of those like brothel queens, like. Oh man, I can't think of her name. She was on various talk shows in the 90s, and I think she did a little bit of acting and modeling, but she's kind of a hideous looking hoe. But she was just stalwart of 80s and 90s LA, and like manipulation of women and kind of hoeing them off a little bit, call girls and whatnot. So she was kind of a proverbial pimp. And
Gotcha.
Wish I knew her name offhand, but that's of ill importance. Skinner, it's actually, you can watch it right now on Prime, if I'm not mistaken. So take the opportunity. If you guys see this on Patreon, do it now. Yes, that's right. So Mikey, thanks so much, man. Gracias for all of the constant support, for all the hilarious memes. We love you, man. You're one of our favorite people on the interwebs, good sir. So
that's basically, that'll do this review for Skinner, 1993.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, originally actually released
91.
in 91 in Italy.
And then it came out
the US release for 93.
Yeah, and that's why for Italy, and the giallo scene and everything over there, it makes sense that it would have found distribution there beforehand and then make its way a few years later.
It is a pretty artsy kind of style and how they film this and everything, especially with the lighting and things like that. So.
Even like all of the like really detailed graffiti and stuff, the areas that they scouted out to do that. So I thought that was all very effective. But guys, if you want to be like Mike, I want to be like Mike, you can be a patron and suggest things for us to review. You can jump up to higher tiers and do commentaries. You can be a super badass supporter and do the Boogie Box, which is one of our highest tiers that we have. We've basically put together a curated monthly package and send you all kinds of goodies that we get from some of the different like studios and fan sites and t-shirt makers, all kinds of those that we have these cool little scarific relationships with. So
hell
yeah, man. And also like, share, subscribe, you know the drill, with all
that down in the
guys.
box below. Hit that nice little pretty bell button, get all the notifications, see our gorgeous faces.
Make sure you hit it to all too, so you get to see all of our pretty
Damn
faces.
scumpy.
Damn Reezy. So I guess until next time, peeps, I've been Jaime in Fuego.
I'm Robert Duell.
And until next time, remember, stay scared.